you know that most of the country artists you know and love today got their starts in places called honky tonks? That's right. Patsy Cline, Ernest Tubb, all of them. Honky tonks are an important stop in the careers of some of the brightest country stars. And the music you'll find in honky tonks is like none other on the American landscape. Designed to get your feet tapping and your mind off your troubles, this is music you can't sit down to. Hosted by Bill Anderson, this series features tons of your favorite country music legends as they tell their favorite honky tonk stories, sing their favorite honky tonk songs, all on a collection we're calling Country's Family Reunion Honky Tonk. Come on in.
A song of old San Antonio, where in dreams I've lived with a memory beneath stars all along. It was there I found beside the Alamo, enchanting, strange as a blue up above, a moonlit place, as only she would know. Still hears my broken song.
Sweet and tender, like petals fall apart. Speak once again of my love.
Broken song, it be words I know, still lives in my heart all along. For that moonlit past beside the Alamo, and rose my rose of San Antonio. Levi.
The lights. Oh boy, that'll wake up the crowd. You know, I love seeing the whites do that kind of music, the honky tonk and the old western stuff. Because today we associate you guys more with bluegrass and gospel music.
But most people say that no matter what we're playing, they can hear a swing in it. And we know that's Dad's influence from all the years of playing the honky tonk.
You played that first before you got into the
He did.
Yeah, it's in the genes back there.
And at home, at other friends' house, he'd play bluegrass, but he played in the honky tonks. And we heard all the stories before we ever grew up and started playing with him, you know.
Now, in a honky tonk, a loud place like that, would you play an upright bass, or would you
I
go
did
on
in the early
bass?
days until about 1984 when the record company wanted me to learn the electric, and I mourned for months because I thought I just can never learn that. Was already members of the Opry and playing all the time, and I was going to have to learn in front of people instead of learning in the kitchen like I learned how to play this. But many years I played this in clubs and honky tonks.
But it doesn't carry, it doesn't cut through the sound like the electric.
No, it does
bass
not.
Does, yeah.
No.
You got a pretty good guitar player back there behind you. Leon Rhodes took that break on that song. Played it a few times, I'm sure.
That's our Leon.
Buck, I said you got a bunch of honky tonk stories. Tell us one.
Yeah, I was played in the MB Corral in Wichita Falls. Played there regularly. Some of you guys know that place. Halfway in between town and the air base. And there was always trouble of some kind. It's a nice place. If you just stayed in your, stayed on my piano bench, I got along with it.
Stay on that bench.
But I was working with this band, and this boy that was singing and lead the band, his wife was dancing with a soldier.
Uh-oh.
And she was, I said, watch me, I'm going to take care of him in a minute. Boy, before we got through, he laid his guitar down, he run out there, and he hit that old boy so hard, he hit the floor, and I don't know, they got him up. He never did wake up for a while. And she was hollering at him, and he didn't hit her, though.
Did y'all just keep playing?
Well, we stopped. But I was another time I was playing there, and here come Jerry Lee Lewis, And after I got up and let him have the piano,
that was a mistake.
He got to playing, and I was standing far from you. And he jumped up and kicked the stool, and the stool come right over to me, and it's one that didn't break my leg.
Kicked
10
it like
feet
you,
away.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of stuff. But, I said, I can't do this forever. And I played for years and years and years in those places. When these girls got big enough and they started singing around the house with their mother, boy, I started thinking, man, oh man, I got something here. So I said, well, I got to leave this town to do it. So picked them up, moved them over into Arkansas, got out in the country.
That's where we started singing.
And wasn't nothing around, nobody to bother us. And I went to work in town in Fort Smith. And I'd come home at night, get cleaned up, and we'd practice. I mean, just as regular as a clock. And they just kept getting better, and they kept getting better, and they kept getting better. And I said, about 8 years later, I said, we're going to Nashville.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. The Whites, they are terrific.
And my salvation, that's what they are.
Said he grew himself a band is what he did. Raised a band. Our favorite story, one of our favorite stories, Daddy likes to tell it usually. We did play some big dance halls and big honky tonks, I guess they were called. And I don't remember, it was someplace out in the West, I don't know, if it's Nebraska or Kansas or someplace. Great old big place. And we set up and we're playing, and we had the best bus driver at this time. He was a great guy, and he was watching our record table that night. So Daddy went through this big introduction telling who everybody was on the band, and he said, and that feller back on our record table back there said he's one of the finest guys we've ever had. Said he's the best bare knuckle fist fighter east of the Mississippi. And every head in the place turned back there, and he's like going, whoa!
Oh, don't ever do that again, Buck.
Y'all know Daddy, he likes to cut up. So that's just a example of one of his stories anyway.
Hey, Buck.
People in there took that serious.
Yeah.
You mentioned Wichita.
Yeah.
You mentioned Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
Did you know a guy named Leon Gibbs?
He's asking.
Did you know Leon Gibbs and the Gibbs Brothers band?
Yeah. That MB Corral.
That was their
I used to
place.
work when I worked for Jimmy Davis,
Yeah.
and he was running for governor in 70 something, 70,
Yeah.
71. he was a fiddle player in the band. And so I got to know him, and they were also, his band was in the Last Picture Show.
Yep.
And neat guy, but he was coming back to, we'd do when I was working for the governor, we'd do those stumping campaigns, 4 or 5 a day, and on the weekend, Leon would drive back home to Wichita Falls and back to Louisiana, and his car caught on fire one time while he was driving back. and just burned the hell up. And he hitchhiked there. He saved his fiddle, and that's about it.
Wow.
We was playing one night, and some guy come in the front door by himself, lugging his guitar. Nobody didn't know who he was, and he's that guy sitting right there with a little cap.
It was.
Yeah.
We got acquainted.
Yeah, we did.
His first time to come east, wasn't it?
West.
I mean.
That way.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
All right.
That far.
You talking about Roy Clark?
Yeah.
Roy Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he get up and sit in with you?
He's a very nice fellow. He still is. And he knew what he was doing when he opened that guitar up.
Yes, sir.
You meet lots of people playing music in them places. Some of them's nice and some of them's rough, and you just got to stay in your place, you know.
Well, when Roy came in lugging that guitar, did you invite him to come up on the bandstand and play?
Boy, yeah. We invited him. Did you get it out and play?
Yes, I was booked there.
Oh.
I was booked in the club, yeah.
Oh, he made it sound like you just wandered in.
Well, I did.
He didn't come in like he was supposed to be there.
Like his,
I wasn't sure that I was.
You wasn't sure.
He's thinking, what have I done?
Yeah, really. But the piano player was pretty good.
Well, he's getting by anyway. He still is, just getting by.
I got you.
Got some good help.
Darryl McCall was telling me during the break about what you do when somebody comes into a honky tonk, comes up to the bandstand, and wants you to play a different kind of music from the kind that you play. Share that story. This is funny.
Can I say the word?
Yeah.
You can edit me if you want to. But I was playing one night, I think it was down at Cut and Shoot, just outside of Houston. And this old boy came up to the bandstand, and he'd had a snoot full. And I'm in the middle of a song, and I leaned over to see what he wanted, and he got me by the back of the head, was about to pull me off the stage. And I said, "What do you want?" He said, "Well, you ain't played my favorite song all night." I said, "Well, what do you want to hear?" And he named some rock and roll song. I said, "Partner, you're in the wrong place. We don't play that kind of music. You got to go down the street a few blocks." And it made him mad. And he backed up and he looked at me with that one eye and said, "Well, you can just kiss my ass, that's what you are." And I'm just the guy that can do it. And they came and got him, was carrying him out the door, and I heard him say, "I didn't come in here, and I ain't leaving till I do." So, I as drunk as some fickle people I are. And if you think I'm drunk, you ought to see me.
Junior Brown, you're shaking your head like you've been there.
Oh,
He's
buddy.
been there.
And then some. Yeah, I spent a good part of my formative years in clubs. We didn't call them honky tonk, we just called them clubs. And honky tonk was kind of, a derogatory term, I guess, so nobody called them that when I started in the late 60s and early 70s. But, yeah, played a million of them.
Did you ever have anybody come up and ask for a rock and roll song you didn't want to play or know how?
I've told them this. I've gotten mad at them and said, "Hey, go watch your MTV or whatever. It's not the place for rock and roll." And I got fired from some jobs because they wanted you to be versatile, Yeah. And they wanted you to play some rock and roll. If somebody came up and requested one that was popular at the time, you were expected to do it. And a lot of times I wouldn't, so I didn't keep the job very long. But I was always working. I could always get jobs with various bands here and there throughout the Southwest.
Well, that's because you're a good entertainer, good performer. I'm glad you're here today. I can't wait to hear you get up here with your
good to be here.
the one-man orchestra that you carry.
Yeah.
You're terrific, man. There's a young man sitting next to you. I don't know if everybody in the room knows him because he's in the very early stages of his career, but we need people that are going to carry on what was started before we came along, when it was started with the Bob Wills and the light crust doughboys and the whole thing in the Western music, the honky tonk music. This young man comes out of bluegrass. That's his background. He's only 22 years old, but you've been sitting over there grinning like you're really enjoying this. This is Mo Pitney, for those of you that don't know Mo.
I want to say. Before we get into anything else, I want to say that I think I got a bone to pick with whoever set up the chairs and put Mo Bandy directly behind me in line with you, because I've almost stepped into being a fool a couple times and speaking up when you weren't talking to me.
Oh, yeah. You have to say Mo with an E.
Yeah, that's right. There's Mo Pitney is just M-O, Mo Bandy is M-O-E.
But when you say it, you can't hear the E on it. You can only tell them apart when you write it.
You gotta say
it's hard to whisper an E.
Yeah, exactly.
Come up and sing us a song.
All
Now,
right.
this guy, as I said, he grew up in bluegrass music, a lot of gospel music influences and all in his life. So, are honky tonks something that you're comfortable with? Have you performed in very many of them?
Well, you know, I think I'm with Daryl Singletary back there with growing up in a Baptist home, and I think my mama did real well to keep me out of the honky tonks. I'm only 22, so I've really only had 1 year to really spend a whole lot of time.
Well, have you taken advantage of that 1 year?
Yeah, well, I have, since I've moved to Nashville. I got a story about this song that I'm going to sing. The first time I heard it, I took a trip with my dad. My dad's a steel guitar player. And first time I heard this song, I heard Lloyd Greene play this song at Scotty's steel guitar convention in St. Louis. And I didn't know the words then, but when I heard the song, I just loved the melody. And I was humming the melody because nobody was singing. It was just Lloyd playing the melody. And
that's all you need.
Well, you ain't kidding. Boy, I'm a big fan of Lloyd Greene, but on the way home, I was going to say this just because I'm sitting with Junior. On the way home, my dad first introduced me to you it popped in a Junior Brown CD, and I got home, and I was probably 11 or 12, and I was walking in the front door singing Borrowed Angels, and I was singing You're Wanted by the Police, and my wife thinks you're dead, and my dad was in trouble for that one trip.
He aged 10 years after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh.
So,
Sorry, Mom.
But this song is Borrowed Angel, and Mom didn't love that I was singing it in the house, and so now I'm singing it on television. But forgive me, Mom. I love you, and it's about the music.
Her fingers feel so gentle with her hand in mine. Her hair feels like silk on my arm. Her lips tell me so tenderly she's mine alone. Until we part tonight and she goes home. Borrowed angel belongs to someone else. I love my borrowed angel. I just can't help myself. That ring on her
just tonight. I can't go on like this, it isn't right. When that lonesome feeling comes knocking on my door, I'll call my borrowed angel to ease the pain once more. Borrowed angel belongs to someone else. I love my borrowed angel, I just can't help myself. That ring on her finger don't belong to me, but she loves me, and I know she'll save some borrowed time for me. But she loves me, and I know she'll save some borrowed time for me. Mikey played on the road with Mel Street, so he played that quite a bit. That's a Mel Street song, and Mikey played on the road with him. So Mark too, yeah.
Yeah, there's three of them up there that used to play in Mel Street's band: Les Singer and Mark and Mike Johnson. Oh, you didn't play on that particular record though, because that was the record that kind of got him started. But you played on a lot of his records after that.
Lloyd Greene
Take the microphone. And Mel Street was a wonderful singer.
Right.
Really a country singer, but we lost him at a very early age.
Yeah, and he was such a great people person too. People loved Mel, man. He was just so good with everybody. He loved country music, and he loved the people, you know. But we sure hated to lose him. It was a sad loss. We often wonder what he would be like, you know, how big he would have been. He'd been another George Jones or something, you know, if he'd have still been around. So
he was a good entertainer too. He would. We worked some shows together, and he'd do his Elvis bit. And, he was.
And Les would do his Chuck Berry bit too. And
Les, show us your Chuck Berry bit there, Les.
Just a little different. Yeah,
he's retired.
Across the stage.
I think right now probably be a good time to recognize all these guys and to thank them for the great job that they're doing today and every time we get together. Of course, Mike Johnson is the band leader, the great steel guitar player. Over in the corner by the mechanical bull or armadillo or whatever, Mr. Dirk Johnson. Back on the bass, the third Johnson in the group, Mr. Mark Johnson on the bass. Hank Singer, it was my day to wear this shirt. Hey, the other day on one of our shows, you wore a shirt very, very much like, thank you for letting me wear it today. Hank Singer on the fiddle. The legendary Jimmy Capps, as always, on the guitar. The best. Les Singer on the acoustical guitar and the banjo when called for. John Gardner, you need to stand up back there. You're sitting down so low everybody can't always see you. John Gardner on the drums. And helping on the background vocals, and we couldn't do it without them. Dennis McCall, Nora Lee Allen, and Jamie Martin. They're doing a terrific job, and we thank you. I said that they said we were going to have little waitresses with red boots come out and serve us drinks. Jamie's got on red boots back there.
Yes, a second gig, yes.
Jamie and Nora Lee both told me that, of course, they grew up in very strict religious homes, and they never been to a honky tonk until you went. Your old husbands drug you into them, is that right?
Working. They were working.
They were working. Of course, Nora Lee's married to Dwayne Allen of the Oak Ridge Boys, and Jamie's married to Paul Martin, who works with Marty Stewart. So they took you to your first honky tonks, huh?
Took us down that long, dark road.
And look what it led to.
I've never looked back.
Well, you know, I was brought up in the church too. We were Methodists, so I guess we were a little more lenient. I don't know.
Had a dancing
But,
foot.
but I do have to say that I had early influence because we lived way out in the country, and about every other Saturday, I guess, we would go, my folks would, the whole family would go to town. Well, my brothers went to the Western movies, and they didn't want to take me. And my mother was doing all the family shopping, and she didn't want to take me. So my dad took me, and we went to this little neighborhood bar. Now, this sounds terrible to some people, but I'm looking around at these jukeboxes, and I have such wonderful memories, because I was just a little kid. They get me an orange soda and give me a whole fistful of nickels, and I would play Ernest Tubb records on that jukebox.
Awesome.
They just if I'd run out of music, somebody'd give me some more nickels, and Dad would play shuffleboard. So, I mean, I had wonderful early memories, and we weren't doing anything wrong. I do want to say this. The Honky Tonks, we've kind of pictured them as a place to fight and all that, but there's a good side of Honky Tonks, too. You know, anybody who's ever been lonely or brokenhearted, you go there, and like Mo Pitney said, it's about the music. There's a song that lets you know that you're not the only one who feels that way. So there's my commercial for the Honky Tonk.
I want to say something on that, too. My mother's mother was Church of Christ out in Texas, and she went to dances. Her and Grandpa went to dances, and she never drank or smoked or never said, well, she might have told an ugly joke. I do remember her telling some pretty good jokes, but she said it's good, clean fun. Right. And a lot of the dances in Texas, especially when my mama was a little girl, they were not just honky tonk or what we think of as being a dark environment. They were family events. And
social.
My mother told us about having a memory of her grandma's brothers. One of them played the fiddle, and one of them played the mandolin, one played the guitar, I guess. And they played in this band, and they were playing a street dance. And she said, I was just a little girl. Mama set me up on the wagon. The stage was on a wagon. And she said, Mama set me up there by Uncle Virgil, by his feet. Mm-hmm. And she said, her mother had red hair. She said, I could watch Mama's head bobbing out in the crowd. I knew where Mama was because I could see her. But, you know, the dancing was just such a part of the culture in Texas. And it really was. In fact, this may be too long a story to tell, but my grandmother's people migrated west from, I guess, Mississippi and settled in central Texas near Anson. And there was nothing but prairie and cowboys and ranches and stuff there. And she said they had a Christmas dance they called the Cowboys Ball in Anson, Texas. And her mother, my grandmother's mother, was a little girl, was maybe 12 or 13 years old the first time they had one of those. And she said, Grandma said, her mama danced with all of the boys that had come in from the prairie for this party. And so years later, they started having a reenactment of it. And it's a historic event now. And when Ricky and I were dating, we went, Grandma had begged all of our family to come and be part of this Cowboys Ball. And because she said, it's a big thing when your descendants come, you know. She said, I'm a descendant and you're my descendant, and it's a big thing, and we always do this, the Grand March. She said, we have a descendant of one of the original settlers she said, I want you and Ricky to do that. I said, we don't know how to do a Grand March. She said, you just walk around. So we were dating, and it was Christmas time. We all went out there, and Rick and I led the Grand March, and I will never forget when we walked in the room, and they really didn't have tables and chairs. They had one side of the room had bleachers on it. And then there was a bench that went around like 3/4 of the dance floor. You went through this little swinging gate door. And Mom and Daddy went through just ahead of me and Ricky. And as soon as they hit that gate, they started dancing. I get tears in my eyes thinking about it right now because that was one of the prettiest sights I ever saw was my mom and daddy dancing. And Ricky said, "Don't you leave me." Because he didn't know how to dance. I didn't know how to dance either. You know,
We was too busy playing music to dance.
But
well, I don't think that we're talking about the church
It was
and
it
religion
was a
and all. I
family
don't think
event.
that necessarily conflicts with the honky tonk. And I'll tell you an example of that. First #1 record I ever had was a semi-religious song called "Mama Sang a Song," and you do that in a honky. Now you wait until about the second set when they've relaxed a little bit, and they start asking for
That's
it.
right.
And you have never, the first time I did it in a club, I was scared to death. I figured, somebody will come up here and hit me. But actually, they're very emotional.
That's right.
And they want to hear. And I've heard people sing songs like Family Bible and various things in the honky tonks, and the crowds
we always
love
did.
it. So
We
it's
always
not,
did.
It's
not
about the
exclusive.
music.
Yeah, it's all about
It's about the music.
the music. Jim Ed Brown?
Yes.
Saw you sitting back there singing harmony with Rhonda Vincent on Borrowed Angel.
Let me tell you something. I got the best harmony singer in the country sitting right here beside me.
Rhonda worked in your band at one time, didn't she?
I did.
She did.
1985.
Yes, she did.
I did the show You Can Be a Star, and he hired me on the spot.
That's right. He was hosting that show. How about a song out of Jim Ed?
Oh, me?
I imagine you've played in a few honky tonks and could tell us a few stories. Jim Ed, when the Browns were together and you were touring with them primarily, your two sisters, Maxine and Bonnie, did y'all play many clubs? I would think that your act would have been more for the auditoriums and the county fairs and things than the honky tonks.
We really didn't get into the clubs until I started when I sang Papa Top. But the Browns, we did a few, I guess, but and it was kind of strange because the Three Bells, I said, we can't do that in a club. They can't dance to it because it stops the music, and all that. But we had more requests for that than anything. But you know what? There's everybody has got stories. One of the greatest singers and entertainers that ever was a fellow by the name of George Jones. I went to Texas one time. This is just one time. I went to Texas and had some dates down there. And I went into this one club, and we got there early, and we went in and set up all of our equipment. Well, and we were sitting out on the bus, and George Jones was booked there also. George came in with his bus, and his front man went in to the manager of the hotel, to the club. Hotel. Where'd I get hotel? Anyway, went into the club, and he came out, and he got the money. George had sent him in to get paid for it. He came back out and went to the bus, and George said, "Did you get the money?" And he said, "Yeah." I was sitting there. He said, "Let's go." And I said, "Where's you going to?" Anyway, he said, "Get off the bus." I got off the bus, and they took off. And I called George. I found out from George later. He said, "Well, he owed me for the last time I was here, so I just got the money for this one." But anyway, who was it that was talking about the chicken wire in front of the stage? First place I ever played was Midland, Texas, that had chicken wire. We got out there, and there was chicken wire in front of the stage, and I asked the people, I said, "What's the chicken wire for?" He said, "You'll find out." Yeah. But anyway, there's a lot of great stories that we could tell through the years, but there's a lot of great songs that through the years we've all played and sang. And if you ever wanted to do a dance, and if they weren't dancing like you thought they should be, then all you need to do is go into this song right here.
Far across deep blue water lived an old German's daughter by the banks of the old River Rhine. There I loved her and left her, and now I can't forget her. She was my pretty Faulein. Everybody. Faulein, Faulein, that your hand is holding mine. By the same stars above you, I swear that I love you. I love my pretty Faulein. My memories wander away over yonder to that sweetheart that I left behind. In a moment of glory, her face there before me, the face of my pretty Faulein. Faulein, Faulein, walk down by the river. Pretend that your hand is holding mine. There I loved her and left her. Now I can't forget her. I love my pretty Faulein. I love my pretty Faulein.
You know, Bill, we've done a lot of these shows together, but I've never seen the band play any better or happier and smiling as much as they are through this show.
Yeah.
Because
This
they've
is
all
the
been to
music they
Honky
love.
Tonks and they know what it is. Thank you very much.
That's great. Jim Ed Brown. The band was looking so forward to this show. This is the one I think of all the shows we've done, I've never seen y'all as excited about doing one because I know this is so much of the kind of music that y'all like to play. David Ball, you came along right at the tail end of the time when a country singer could have a hit on the radio with a real, what I call a country honky tonk song.
Yeah.
And there haven't been a lot of them since you had the song about the thinking problem.
Yes, that's right.
On the radio.
They would, we were trying to get it going, and the guy would introduce me as the man that's going to set country music back 50 years. But for some reason, the record label made them stop saying that. I thought, well, that's true. That's true, because...
well, were they saying that as a compliment?
Yes, of course. Golly, man.
Put it back where it belongs.
That's the... You know, when I first started hearing Webb Pierce, Ray Price, George Jones, Bob Wills, that was it for me. And I liked everything about it. The sound of the records, the singing, the songs. And, still continued to kind of write songs that way. They sort of had sometimes they had a little smile, written in them. And I like that. I like the kind of the
Well, did you grow up playing in the honky tonks? Or?
Well, I grew up in the Baptist church, but the first song I ever learned to play was Little Brown Jug. So
it's a good old
I guess
hymn.
that's a good old Baptist hymn, isn't it? That's in my hymnal, right? Yeah, my dad was a Baptist preacher, and my mother was a piano player / go-go dancer, and so we played a lot of music at home, and they love music and they love people, and I just fell into this just as natural as.
You live in Texas now?
No, I lived out there for about 11 years. Musically, kind of cut my teeth and grew up out there playing. And then I knew I was wanting to come to Nashville. And I finally started hearing the stuff on the radio that I identified with. On the other hand, Randy Travis and all that started coming out. And so I moved to Nashville. And
Well, you made quite a mark. You really made a tremendous mark. Was Thinking Problem, was that your very first record after you got
I
there?
did a record on another label, but, it wasn't, I was a barroom singer. And to come into a studio and try to sing with headphones on, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't do it. And finally got comfortable, and people showed me some tricks, how to do it. And,
Did you hang a neon sign that said live show or mechanical bull?
Exactly. We tried everything, man.
Tip jar.
Whatever worked.
Big tip jar.
Hey, Bill, I remember whenever the first time he played the Grand Ole Opry, he had the hit song, The Thinking Problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I was about to introduce him, and he said, Jim Ed, it's thinking problem, not drinking.
It's not a problem, it's problem.
Problem, I don't understand
you do that. Or did the writers write it that way? Or was
I wrote it.
Oh.
I reckon he did.
I guess you can do it any way you want to.
Yeah.
Well,
Do I say problem? You're going to mess me up now. I have to sing it. Do I say problem?
Well, that was a great hook, a great little gimmick on the song.
Well, it's just a mixture of about 5 great songs, isn't it? All turned up and shook up, and that's what came out. Alan Shamlin had the idea. He said, David, what do you think about a song called Thinking Problem? And I said, well, does it go like this, Alan? And we were off. So I had that song for about 5 years.
Wow.
And couldn't get it arrested, couldn't get anybody to cut it. Even my publisher hated it. But he changed his mind. It became one of his favorites.
It's funny how going to the mailbox will change your mind.
Yes, yeah. I couldn't have asked for a better way to kick it off. And it started, and I got to play all the dance halls and go back to Texas and, play the big places where I'd seen people play. And, music sounds very good in those big dance halls, low ceiling, and that's, that was what I was writing, was stuff that would work in the dance hall.
Well, we've tried to make this as much like a dance hall or a honky tonk as we can, so come up here.
Well,
and,
I appreciate
and
y'all
feel
doing this
comfortable
just for
and,
me, make me feel it. Oh,
we had trouble trying to lower the ceiling because of all the lights. But.
Yeah. Well, you do have people diving and falling and tripping and kicking over the lights, so I'm at home.
Tell them about Uncle Walt's band.
Uncle Walt's band, that was a band from Spartanburg, South Carolina. We all kind of went to high school, and that band got real good, and we moved to Austin, Texas in about 72. Or we came to Nashville for about 9 months, and we were crazy, We didn't know what we were doing, and wound up going to Texas and stayed out there for about 10 or 11 years, and off and on, playing all kind of music, and got to see Bob Wills' original Playboys, and somebody mentioned the Skyline Club out there in Austin. It was fantastic. A lot of great music was going on out there, and Texas kind of has its own. Alan Shamlin says when he goes down there, he's from down there. He says, music I can hear the same song down there, and it just sounds different. So you can't explain it, but it's just.
Get to the part where you hired me.
Junior Brown was playing in a little honky tonk.
He's gonna leave me out of this.
And
I'm not gonna let him.
I knew they had a go-go dancer that had one arm, didn't she?
No.
You talking about that place we played?
No.
It was a rough joint. And Junior got us to come on down there, and we played a little bit of music together. You were standing up playing a steel guitar,
That's right.
old style. Mm-hmm. I was playing an upright bass. And they thought we literally were from outer space. We were getting after it. And
Walter Hyatt,
Champ Hood,
God bless
fantastic
him.
guitar player. Yeah, when I heard those two guys playing guitar, I switched over and started playing the bass fiddle. See,
and you did great too.
Yeah, well, thank you. So were you, Junior. I love that old kind of stuff. I always
buddy,
have.
Yeah, buddy.
And Webb Pierce was a big influence on me. I loved his the songs and the singing. Is that what we're going to do? Yeah. There stands the glass. No. Oh, we're going to do Thinking Problem. Right, Thinking Problem. Thinking Problem. What key is that in now?
He's got a thinking
You
problem.
wrote it.
All right, so this just, I love doing this. I had to come out on the big CMA Awards show, and I had about, they let everybody do about 4 minutes of their song, and I didn't have the guitar. They said, no, don't go out with the guitar. And I thought, well, you know, I need a note or something to come out and sing, you know, yes, I admit. And,
Yeah.
and I come walking out on the stage, and I look down in the orchestra pit, and the guy in the orchestra pit's sitting there going, you know, like this. And I'm like, well, what does he do? And what song is that? And, you know, it took us, I mean, we might have gotten there, but within, you know, 15 seconds of it, we never got close. I'm not sure what song we played, but I know this, it was for millions and millions of people. And they were like, what now? What song was that? I don't remember that one. But, so we're going to do Thinking Problem. Is this a chance to redeem myself from the CMA show? Okay. Yes, I admit I got a thinking problem. She's always on my mind. Her memory goes round and round. I tried to quit 1,000 times. Yeah, I admit I got a thinking problem. Fill the glass up to the top. I'll start with loving her. Oh, but I don't know when to stop. I wake up and right away her name is on my lips. Once a memory starts to flow, well, I can't stop with just one sip. Yes, I admit I got a thinking problem. She's always on my mind. Her memory goes round and round. I tried to quit 1,000 times. Yeah, I admit I got a thinking problem. Fill the glass up to the top. I'll start with loving her. Oh, but I don't know when to stop. Stoned all day long on my favorite memory. Yes, I admit I got a thinking problem. She's always on my mind. Her memory goes round and round. I tried to quit 1,000 times. Yes, I up to the top. I'll start with loving her. Oh, but I don't know when to stop. I'll start with loving her, but I don't know when to stop. Thank you. Thank you all so much, yeah.
David Bow.
Hey,
That's great, David.
Thank you, Bill.
very much. That's terrific.
I thought for a minute there he did have a thinking problem, didn't you?
Well, yeah, you know, you write what's true. You write what's true.
You said you wanted to say a few words about your former singing partner and buddy of all of us and a longtime member of our family reunion circle, your friend Jack Greene, who passed away not too long ago.
Yeah, when I first was invited to do this show, you know, I was thinking about what I would sing, and I thought, well, you have worked, I guess I worked more honky tonks with Jack Greene in the 11 years we had our show together. And we talk about the bad conditions in the honky tonks, but how many of you have been out there on that fair circuit? And all of it's like, thank God we're going back to a honky tonk, you know. You know, you think about that dance powder on the floor gets to your throat every now and then, but after so many county fairs, you'd rather have that than horse manure after a while out in the racetrack. But one thing about working with Jack, of course, as everybody knows, you know, he was a Texas troubadour. And you mentioned we had the dance version of all of our songs where all the boys got to play whatever they wanted to play and sing whatever. And I bet Mike and Mark Johnson experienced this too, working with Jack. Sooner or later, Jack would make the drummer get up and move because Jack Greene would have to get back on those drums at some point and do a little reminiscent of the troubadours. And I have just such wonderful memories of all the places. And of course, we kind of followed in all the places that Ernest Tubb went. Jack and Cal Smith and May all coming out of Ernest's television show and everything. And have to say that Ernest cut a great path, made a lot of friends that became friends of all of ours. We automatically had friends there because of Ernest. And the other thing I remember, whenever there was a problem come up, Jack would say, wait a minute, let me think how the old man would handle this. He always talked about Ernest as the old man, said if you just stop for a minute and think how he'd handle it, and that's what you ought to do. And he'd always say when the fight broke out, just play another song and pick up the tempo, you know. But thank you. This is one of my favorite things that, am I on? This is one of my favorite songs that Jack did. It just sounds like honky tonk, so y'all think about Jack Greene, okay?
It's hurting more than I believed it would. Lord, I need somebody bad tonight, 'cause I just lost somebody good. I came in here to find someone like you to take his place for just a little while, then I'll be gone. I'll hold you in my arms, close my eyes and see his face, and I won't recall your name when I get home. Oh Lord, I need somebody bad It's hurting more than I believed it would. Lord, I need somebody bad tonight, 'cause I just lost somebody good. Oh yeah, guys. Lord, I need somebody bad tonight, 'cause I just lost somebody good. Thank you so much.
Jeannie Seeley. Wow, that's terrific. Who wrote that song? That's a very well written song. Jack didn't write it, did he?
No, he didn't. And boy, I can't think right now who did. Glenn Martin is the one who brought the song into our circle, I remember. And they were all listening to it and said, man, who does this sound like? And I said, it sounds like Jack Greene to me. So took the song to Jack.
Yeah, well, he did a great job on it. Made a
Yeah,
great
hope
record
that
out
brought back some good Jack Greene memories. He's got a lot of buddies out here.
of it. We all love Jack, and when we see the old family reunion shows that he was a part of, on the early shows, he would always have his guitar in his lap, and he'd play along with everybody and everything.
He loved doing
We
them.
miss Jack a lot. Jim Lauderdale comes to the Grand Ole Opry quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's always great to have him. Great to have you here with us.
Thank you.
You're kind of keeping the rhinestone. I'm trying not to say nudie suits because people never. We get tons of mail every time I talk about that. But you don't seem to be ashamed or afraid to wear those.
No,
which most of the artists wore back in the 50s and 60s.
It was, always a dream of mine to be at the Opry, and when I go out there, especially, I like to dress up. And well, I'm still trying to recover from listening to Jeannie sing. Man,
that's awesome.
Oops. That really,
Was your path in the business growing up singing in the clubs and the honky tonks?
It was, and my dad was a Presbyterian minister.
Oh,
My
we're covering
mom
them all here
was a
today.
choir director,
Yeah.
and but they were very supportive of whatever I wanted to do. And when I started playing clubs, my dad, I remember one time he asked me in front of my mom, he said, well, where are you playing, son? And I said, I'm playing some, music place, some nightclubs. And he went, Skull Orchards, right? And I went,
Your dad knew what a skull orchard was?
And they would come to see me. I grew up in North and South Carolina, and when I was playing close, they'd come by, and sometimes I'd be nervous about them, if it was a rougher place. But my dad loved to watch people, and he'd always enjoy it. But I was more worried about my mom sitting there, and I'd want to be protective of her, but she would always just really enjoy it and everything. And I ended up going out to California later, and I know so many of y'all lived out there. That's where I first met Dale Watson, was out in California, and there was a great scene still there in the 80s when I moved out there, and Dale and Rosie Flores and Chris Gaffney, who by the way, you know how it is when you meet somebody and they do a song that's one of your favorites, and you just have this kinship, this automatic thing. And Chris Gaffney, when I first heard him, he sang, I'll Go Down Swinging. And the name of his group was the Cold Hard Facts.
And I thought,
I like this guy.
Yeah, and he was a great singer. Sadly, he passed away, and he would have loved to have been part of this, and he would have fit right in. But we also played. There was a club out in L.A. called the Palamino. We loved playing, and there's a place out in the desert, in the high desert of California, in Yucca Valley. And it's called Pioneer Town. The club is called Pappy and Harriet's Pioneer Town, and it's in a club in this little town that was an old Western movie set that Roy Rogers and Gene Autry built this place. And so if you ever get a chance, go out there and play it. But I keep thinking today, as I'm just getting these goosebumps and tears welling up hearing this stuff, there's how much we as pickers and writers and singers, have to go through to travel, like you're saying, these, it's rough, sometimes the road and going out and playing these places, and sometimes you're thinking, this is too much. I just don't know if I can do this. But then you get to that place and you think, I don't know if I can go on. And you start playing and you get into that zone.
That's it.
It's that magical kind of zone. And then you think, okay, this is why I'm doing this. And this makes everything worthwhile.
Yeah, it's true.
How about a song
Sure.
from Jim Lauderdale? Yes. While you're getting ready, I'll remind everybody, or tell people that don't know that you portrayed George Jones in a live, I guess it was a play.
It was.
Is that something that you are going to do some more of, or was that just something you did for a while?
If I ever get asked, I will. But that was kind of a dream come true. I'd listen to George.
Do you have to get
so
a
much.
possum haircut to do that?
I just would kind of comb it a certain way, and I'd put, makeup on my eyebrows to make them look like George's.
I saw him. He was wonderful.
But that was a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
he came to the show.
Oh, did he?
He did.
How did that make you feel?
Well,
he was
he
watching?
didn't tell me. He knew that it would scare me too much, and I didn't find out till afterwards. But he was such a great guy. Really miss him.
Well, I'm surprised you're not doing a George Jones song today.
Well, I was thinking about the California stuff, and I wanted to do a Merle Haggard song. And by the way, you guys are being so nice today. I did my first country reunion show a couple of days ago, and the crowd was so rough, they had chicken wire in front of the stage then. But this was Merle's first hit, and it was written by Liz and Casey Anderson, Lynn Anderson's folks. And once again, I'll tell you what, I got so much respect for everybody in this room, and this is just something. So this is such beautiful music.
Amen.
This really is. And so thanks for letting me be a part of this. This is called The Lonesome Fugitive.
Down every road, there's always one more city. I'm on the run, the highway is my home. I raised a lot of cane back in my younger days, while Mama used to pray my crops would fail. And now I'm just a fugitive with just two ways: outrun the law or spend my life in jail. I'd like to settle down, but they won't let me. A fugitive must be a rolling stone. Down every road, there's always one more city. I'm on the run, the highway is my home. come along, she'd only slow me down and they catch up with me. For he who travels fastest goes along. I'd like to settle down, but they won't let me. A fugitive must be a rolling stone. Down every road, there's always one more city. I'm on the run, the highway is my home. I'm on the run, the highway is my home.
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what, it don't get much better than that.
Jim Lauderdale, thank you, pal.
Thank you.
Really, really good. And Jimmy Capps channeling his inner Roy Nichols. Terrific, man.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill. Everybody has talked about the Palamino out there. Everybody's probably worked at Palamino. But there was a place when I was working with Buck Owens, and Tony Booth probably remember this. There's a place out there called Chicken Lip Saloon. And did you remember that one?
Yeah.
Chicken Lip Saloon. We used to play that one. Buck even came down and played a little spot about the size of this room here, I think. But Buck played it and everybody played. Did you play that?
No, I never did.
The Chicken Lips. I
played
great
it.
spot.
David.
You remember the Mule
Did you
Lip
play that?
Saloon?
Yeah.
What was it? The Mule Lip Saloon and
Mule Lip Saloon. That's what I'm
Yes, sir.
thinking about. Yeah, the Mule Lip Saloon.
I met
That's
Miss Mule Lip there, and they actually had a girl that was Miss Mule Lip. I mean,
kind of
I'm thinking, why in the hell would you want to be Miss Mule Lip?
So you played there more than once, right?
Yeah, twice. And it was,
Remember Clint Eastwood had one called the
it's
Hog's Breath
unbelievable.
Saloon.
I'm sorry, Tony?
Clint
And they had a
Eastwood
guy,
had
too.
one called the Hog's Breath Saloon up there.
Hog's Breath Saloon?
Yeah.
Where was that?
It was up on the coast there somewhere up Northern California.
yeah, I was in there. I went up
Was
there.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Whatever
the mayor of that
happened
town,
to-
whatever it was.
Whatever happened
Carmel.
to the old blackboard in Bakersfield, Blackboard Club?
Yeah, it's, I
still
think
there.
it's still going.
Is it
yeah,
still
on,
there?
Troutwell, what's his name? Rockwell?
Rockwell.
No, I'm thinking of Trouts. That was one of the
Trouts
old time
still there,
joints
yeah.
too.
Yeah, Trout.
Yeah, they're still going.
Yeah, I think Red Simpson told me he was.
Yeah,
playing
he's
at
a
Trouts
Tuesday
or
night
whatever.
regular.
Bill, man?
Speaking of the club out there, the Palamino, I played there one night and my piano player got drunk, and I caught him. We were going to the stage and he was going the other way, and I said, "Hey, the stage is back this way." Well, that night he went to sleep and leaned over on the piano keys. And we got through playing, and I gave the manager, I gave him $100, and I said, whenever he wakes up, give him this $100 and tell him to take a bus home. That's it. I never did see him again. I don't know if he made it home.
He's still trying to find his way home.
He's still trying to find his way.
No, I hired. He's in my band.
Ray Pilley, you've kept the honky tonk shuffle type music going at the Grand Ole Opry for a long, long time. When you come out this, many times you're on the Opry late in the show. I know when we used to do 2 shows a lot on Saturday nights, you'd come out there about 11 o'clock and boy, you'd launch into some of those great old shuffles. It'd just wake us all up. I mean,
I
it was
always
so
loved
good to
doing
hear
those
you do
songs.
that.
I always loved them. Old Bob Wills stuff.
But now you grew up in Virginia,
I
so
did.
how were you influenced by that kind of music?
You know, I don't know. My family, everybody in my family had instruments. There was always, at my grandmother's house, there was always instruments laying across the bed or somewhere. And none of them could pick too good, but they had the instruments. Anyway, my uncle had a little band up there in Lynchburg, and he came one day to my house and he said, and I was a grown man at the time. And at this time, I was out of the service and back home, and he came over to the house one day and he said,
I got to ask you to do something for me. And I said, well, what? Because he's the one that taught me how to play guitar, what little I know about it. But anyway, I said, what do you need? He said, I need you to fill in for my lead singer tonight. We were playing the VFW or one of these places. And I said, oh, no, man, I can't do that. Anyway, he taught me into it, and it was, after that first night on stage, it was all over, you know. It's what I had to do, you know. I didn't know about all these honky tonks at the time.
Well, you got to Nashville by winning a talent contest.
Well, I came to Nashville and performed in a talent contest. I didn't win it. I went back home, went back to school. And,
oh, I thought you won it.
I came in second. Farron Young told me I came in second, so I don't know whether I did or not.
Was he one of the judges?
I think so.
No telling where you came in.
I know it.
The judges.
But anyway, that's what really got me interested in making a living in the music business.
Yeah.
You know?
What I'm told on this sheet of paper is that you're going to do a medley of some of those great old songs.
I am. I was going to tell you a good story.
Do it, please.
I thought I'd wait around here all this time. I wasn't going to get to tell you the story. I was booked in this place in New Mexico. I won't tell what town it was, but I got in and I pulled up to the place late that evening, and I thought when I saw it, I said, I'm in a world of trouble. And when I walked in, first of all, it was just a black block building, cinder block building. And when I walked in, it was an Indian guy standing there, and he said, you're gonna love band. And I said, well, I hope I do. And while I'm talking to him, they threw some girl out of the club, and she landed on her butt out there. Sound like Mel Street, but on her butt. But anyway, I walked in, and the manager came over, and I introduced myself, and he said, won't you just sit down over here and wait, and band's up now, and after the break, you can do your first show. So he took my guitar and took it back in the back, and I sat there for a few minutes, and he came out, and I listened to the band, and it was absolutely awful. It was past awful. They had 5 guitars, a bass with the bass man had a broken hand.
That's never good.
That's right. The drummer and that was it, I think. But anyway, it was a little old wrought iron fence like around the stage. They were sitting on the wrought iron fence around it, lined up, and there was 5 of them, and none of them hit their butt. I'm telling you, that was awful. So the guy came over to me and said, is there anything I can get you? I said, you got any Jack Daniels back there? He said, well, sure. I said, well, bring me a bottle and put it right there. And a shot glass, just put it right there, and he did. And when it's time for me to go up, it was awful. And I thought, like you was talking about, what am I doing here, you know? What did I do to deserve this? So at break time, I see these 3 guys come in, and they were part of Glenn Campbell's band. And I had met them before. I don't remember where now, but I had met them all before. And they came over and said hello and everything. And I was so embarrassed because I was working here and, you know, this band and everything. And I said, man, I'm in a world of doo-doo here. I said, I'm gonna need some help. He said, well, we just finished working up in Durango. Said, we came down. I said, did you bring your instruments? And they said, yeah. I said, well, get them out, man. Do you mind? And they said, man, we'd love to. We'd love to sit in with you. I said, now you're gonna do it. You ain't gonna be sitting in with nobody. We're gonna do it. So I told the manager, I said, look, I said, I'm gonna use these 3 guys right here. That's Glenn Campbell's band. And I said, that's what I'm gonna do for the next set. I won't need your band. And he said, that's not gonna go over real good, buddy. And I said, well, that's what I'm gonna do. So anyway, I get up there, and we had a good 45 minutes to an hour session, I guess. And when I walked off the stage, he grabbed me by the arm. And he said, "Come with me." And I went back in the back. He paid me my money. And he said, "You need to get that guitar and get out that back door as fast as you can go because those guys are going to come after you." So I went out and got in the car, and I left New Mexico in my rearview mirror, and I hadn't been back lately.
Maybe that's
I don't
how
know
the
why
baseball player broke his hand.
I never did start any trouble, but I always seemed to find it, you know? I was on the wrong end of it several times.
Can I guess which town it was? Gallup, Grants, or Farmington?
Farmington.
Farmington. I knew it. It was one of them three, man. I played all them joints. I knew it was one of them.
Let's hear that medley of songs from Ray
You're
Pillar.
gonna love band. You're gonna love band.
Hey, Bill, I'd like
Y'all
to
ready?
say that when Ray comes on at the Opry, the band lights up.
Yeah,
I've never seen a band
Absolutely.
enjoy
That's right.
playing with anybody more than with him.
That's right.
And I can't help it. When you play, I always want to see it and hear it. But I always can picture Billy Linneman. He was
Oh,
like
he
in
did love
bass player's heaven. Just, it's swing time. He said, "I'm swinging," you know. He just loved playing with Ray.
Yeah, he did.
You're awfully nice to say those things. I mean, you do that a lot. Every time I see you,
I
you're always
want you
great.
to
And I
always know
appreciate
it.
that. I really do. Here's that little medley I'm going to do, guys. Please don't leave me anymore, darling. Partings are so sad, my dear. You're the only one that I love, darling. Can't you see that I'm sincere? We were once so happy, dear, happy as could be. Now that we've got things patched up, please stay here with me and love me like you did before, darling. 'Cause I'm so in love with you. Here we go. I don't want to make you dance, won't I? About right here is where I'm supposed to come in. The kind of love I can't forget, dear, was the love you gave to me. I had my chance and now I suffer. My heart is filled with misery. So why not take me back again, dear? We could live so happily. The kind of love I can't forget, dear, was the love you gave to me. Tonight in a ballroom I'm sitting apart
cheers. The scenes of my life come before me while watching the bubbles in my beer. A vision of someone to love me brings a lone and silent tear into my eyes. I know that my life's been a failure while watching the bubble in my beer. While I'm watching the bubble in my beer.
Bandera Walls. Thank you.
Hey, great job, man.
Thank you.
Great job from Ray Pilla. Country's Family Honky Tonk Reunion will continue after this. Thanks, pal. Great time.